If you're looking for a beginner-level ski resort in Georgia that is family-friendly and has a mix of both skiing and things to do off the slopes, then BAKURIANI in the Lesser Caucasus could be a great option. BAKURIANI is 180 kilometers from Tbilisi and about 150 kilometers from Kutaisi, meaning you can reach the resort from either of those cities or airports in under 4 hours. In this video, I want to give you a feel for what it's like at the resort and in the town, what it's like to ski here, other things to do off the slopes, and all the practical details that you need to plan a trip. I compare BAKURIANI to Gudari quite a lot, but if you're trying to decide between these two popular ski resorts, then please wait until the end of the video. I'm going to do a proper comparison. If there's something I've missed, please leave me a comment below and I'll do my best to help out. BAKURIANI is located in the southern part of Georgia in the Trialeti Mountains at an elevation of 1,700 meters above sea level. It's about 30 kilometers from the nearest major town of Borjomi. The landscape around BAKURIANI is a volcanic landscape. The resort is surrounded by coniferous forests, mineral water springs, and sanatoriums and resorts that date back both to the Romanov period and the Soviet era. BAKURIANI is technically a dabar, which means a large village or a small town, and it has a population of about 2,000 people. Because of this, BAKURIANI has all the facilities of any other small Georgian town. BAKURIANI is Georgia's oldest ski resort. The first ski base was opened here in 1932, and it served as a training ground for Winter Olympians from across the USSR. It's been renovated many times since then, including a major reconstruction on some of the runs in 2015. All the lifts and facilities here are very modern. In 2023, BAKURIANI hosted the Freestyle Ski and Snowboarding World Championships, and this winter it will host the European Youth Olympic Winter Festival. There are 5 ski areas in BAKURIANI with a total of 11 lifts and 26 groomed runs. These range from gentle beginner slopes to more challenging expert courses. Strangely, I saw less than a dozen snowboarders the entire time we were here, so skiing definitely seems to be the thing to do. BAKURIANI is snowshore and has pretty reliable snowfall every year between late December and the end of March. This season, it was actually the first of Georgia's 4 ski resorts to open, and the lift started running on December 7. Ski season lasts until the end of March, and the highest snowfall is traditionally towards the end of that month. I definitely recommend you avoid visiting during the Georgian school holiday period because it does get very busy here. That's between New Year and mid-January. The road to BAKURIANI is a sealed road and it takes less than 60 minutes to get up to the resort from Borjomi. You do not need a 4-wheel drive, but you definitely do need winter tyres if you're coming in winter. This is a legal requirement in Georgia and police do check. My preferred car rental company in Georgia, which is Local Rent, supplies winter tyres with its rentals free of charge. We drove up to BAKURIANI in our own car and we really enjoyed the drive. The road is very scenic, it's cleaned in winter, and it's not too steep at all. There are petrol stations on the way into BAKURIANI, and there's also a big car repair shop if you need it. There is a second route to BAKURIANI that approaches the resort from the south via Alkalkalaki, but this road is not open in winter. It remains partially unsealed around the pass, and you just can't drive it in the snow. Instead, you'll need to approach the resort from the west via Borjomi. If you don't want to self-drive, then the next best option is to have a private driver bring you up to BAKURIANI. I recommend using the GoTrip website to find a driver. You can book a transfer from Tbilisi, Batumi, or any other location in Georgia. This is a door-to-door service, and you're free to make as many stops along the way as you wish. The price is locked in at the time of booking and won't change. If you prefer to use shared transport, then you have a couple of different options. There are direct marshrutka vans to BAKURIANI from Kutaisi and Tbilisi, but in most cases, the easiest option is going to be to transit through Borjomi. Once you get to Borjomi, there are about half a dozen vans to BAKURIANI every day between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. approximately. The fare to get to BAKURIANI is just 3 lari. If you want more details about getting to Borjomi, I have a detailed blog post with all that information, marshrutka vans, taxis, and also the train from Tbilisi. I'll leave the link in the description below. This is a good time to mention the Kukushka train, which is the scenic railway between Borjomi and Bakuriani. It launched in 1902, but unfortunately it closed in March 2020 and hasn't started up again. So for now, you cannot take the train to Bakuriani. In terms of getting around Bakuriani, it is great to have your own car because it makes getting around in the cold weather a lot easier. The roads are pretty good in the resort and in the town, with the exception of the road into the Kokta ski area, which is unpaved and frankly awful. There are 24-hour parking lots set up around Bakuriani. We paid 3 lari for this outdoor lot near the 25 ski park, and then we paid 5 lari to park in this undercover lot near Kokta. All these lots have terminals, so you can pay either with card or cash, and you always pay on arrival, not on exit. Our accommodation in Didveli provided free parking. This is definitely something you want to check if you're bringing up your own car. These green Isuzu city buses run around Bakuriani throughout the day, between the ski lifts at Didveli in the south and Kokta in the east. There are 2 routes, one that goes via the Bakuriani Inn, and another one that goes via the 25 ski park. The bus fare is 1 lari per person per ride. You must pay with a debit or credit card as you board by tapping on the terminal. I couldn't find a precise schedule for the buses, but they did appear to be very frequent. If the roads are icy, there might be fewer services though. Taxis are widely available in Bakuriani and the Bolt app does work here. I highly recommend using the app to book a taxi if you can, or at the very least opening up the app to get an idea of the price. If you're hailing a taxi on the street, remember you always have to confirm the price before you get in the car. To give you a very rough idea of prices, the 20-minute drive from Didveli to Kokta costs around 20 or 25 lari. You can also walk in Bakuriani. There are footpaths in the centre of town, including on the Circle Road. Just be very wary of traffic. There are 5 main areas where you can ski in Bakuriani. Let's start with the 3 resorts that are run by the government-owned Mountain Trails Agency, or MATA. These areas are Didveli, Kokta, and Matabi. Didveli is located in the south of Bakuriani and its highest point is 2,700 meters. There are 5 lifts, including 1 gondola, 3 chairlifts, and 1 platter lift, servicing about 36 kilometers of groomed runs. We saw a lot of ski schools, families, and groups of kids at Didveli. The halfpipe here is actually the only green run in Bakuriani. It's a wide, smooth piste which is great for beginners to practice on. For more advanced skiers, there are 3 intermediate blue runs and 8 red and black runs at Didveli. There are also a few competition runs here, but note that those are closed to the public. Kokta and Mitavi are 2 areas to the east of the town. They are located at 2,175 meters and 2,200 meters respectively. These resorts were redeveloped in 2015 and they have newer lifts and facilities. They are generally considered to be more suitable for advanced skiers, and this area has a really different feel with fewer kids around. Neither Kokta nor Mitabi has any green runs, but there are 6 blue runs between them. Didveli, Kokta and Matabi all fall under the same ticketing system, so you can use the 1 ski pass for all 3 groups of lifts. They are also patrolled by police and mountain rescue teams. In addition, there are 2 privately owned ski areas in Bakuriani. These are called Crystal and the 25 ski park. They have their own operating hours and a different ticketing system. Crystal is also south of the town on another face of Didveli mountain. It has a 2.5 kilometer ski run with its own chairlift and a 350 meter slope which is designed specifically for kids. In our experience, this area can be very crowded, but it has a nice atmosphere. "25 Ski Park is the most informal and frankly chaotic ski area in Bakuriani. It's located right in the centre of town at the southeastern end of the Circle Road. There are platter lifts here that cost a couple of lari to ride, plus there's a chairlift that goes higher up the mountain. The main run here is long and quite flat, and a plus is that unlike the other areas I've talked about, there are no trees to worry about. But it does get very crowded here, so you have to be mindful of other skiers, kids tubing, dogs on the slopes, etc., and especially of snowmobiles and ATVs. As with every resort in Georgia, things do get off to a bit of a later start at BAKURIANI. All the ski lifts start running at 10 a.m. and continue until 5 p.m. At Didveli, there is also night skiing every night of the week until 10 p.m. as long as the weather is okay. There is no night skiing at Kokta or Mitabi. Crystal and the 25 ski park both stay open until late, around 10 p.m. For Didveli, Kokta and Mitabi, they all have standard pricing that is set by Mata. The prices are fairly consistent from year to year, but for the latest information, please have a look in my blog post in the description. To give you a very rough idea though, prices range from 15 lari for one ride up to 55 lari for a day pass. Kids under 12 do get discounted tickets. Crystal and the 25 ski park have their own pricing structures. For the latter, you pay per ride, and this ranges from 1 to 5 lari depending on the lift. Remember that 25 ski park is cash only. Crystal charges a bit more. You can either buy a day pass, a night skiing pass, or a single ride on the gondola. I'll talk more about the gondola later. In BAKURIANI, ticket desks are located at the bottom lift station for all the lifts. Both cash and card are accepted, and you don't need ID to buy a card. When boarding the lifts, swipe your ski pass on the electronic reader, which is located on the left side of the turnstile. If you need to rent ski gear and winter clothing, then there are dozens of rental shops across BAKURIANI, including at all the bottom lift stations. Prices are pretty consistent between the different vendors, and honestly, I couldn't tell much of a difference between their offerings. Have a look on Google Maps, check the reviews there before you decide on a shop. Gear is available for both adults and kids. The going rate for one-day rental in BAKURIANI is 40 lari for skis, boots and poles, or for a snowboard and boots. Then you're going to pay 10 lari for a helmet, 10 lari for goggles, or 30 lari for a waterproof jacket and pants. If you prefer to buy your own gear, there are markets and shops in BAKURIANI town where you can pick up second-hand or possibly new ski clothes and accessories. There are several ski schools in BAKURIANI that offer both private and group lessons for different ages and different levels. The BAKURIANI Ski Academy is a reputable outfit with English, Russian and Georgian speaking instructors. For kids, you might want to look at the Extreme Ski School. Two helpful resources if you are skiing in BAKURIANI. Maps are hard to come by at the resort, so I recommend you download this high-res file from the Mata website before you go. Print off a few copies of the map to take with you. You'll see the runs marked here, and these are the standard European colours, with green for beginners and black runs for the most advanced. This season, Mata launched a new website where you can check the status of all the lifts in BAKURIANI and the other resorts. It's really handy to see what's open and what's closed. It also has a weather report including expected snowfall and visibility, and at the bottom of the page there are 3 live cams from the different ski lifts. Aside from skiing and snowboarding, there are plenty of other things to do in BAKURIANI. I've actually written up a full guide to BAKURIANI in winter with a map, and I'll leave a link for that in the description. Here are some of the highlights. If you're not skiing, you can still ride on the 11 open chairlifts and enclosed gondolas in BAKURIANI alongside the skiers and snowboarders. Scenic riders are welcome to jump off at any of the top lift stations, or you can stay on board the lift and do a full loop without disembarking. Most of the lifts in BAKURIANI are not ski off, meaning you can carefully hop off and walk across the ice if you're wearing proper shoes. It does get slippery, so you need to be careful. We did a couple of joyrides and the lifties were very helpful in slowing down the lift so that we could get on and off more easily. The Nodo gondola at Didveli is particularly scenic at the top. I also recommend riding the Kokta Plateau lift, which goes over a beautiful forest. There's a panoramic funicular at Didveli, but it was always closed. Most of these lifts do not have bubbles and it gets very cold up there, so make sure you wear your warmest gear. There are not really any après-ski or restaurants at the top of the ski lifts, it's more about the view and the ride. A must-do in Bakuriani is to ride the gondola up to the cafe skyline. I think this is the best place to go in Bakuriani for a view. The cafe is located at 2,056 meters above sea level and has an amazing panoramic vista of Bakuriani town and the surrounding mountains. This cafe is in Crystal Park, and to reach it, you have to take the enclosed gondola from the bottom station near Didveli up to the middle area. The gondola runs every day until 10 p.m. and costs 25 lari per person return. I highly recommend going up for the sunset. It's a really beautiful view. The prices at the cafe are actually not too bad if you want to grab a drink or dinner, but if not, nobody seems to mind if you just walk around the terrace and take photos. One of the best things about Bakuriani that you definitely don't get in other places such as Gudari is these amazing coniferous forests. So there's lots of pine trees, lots of spruce trees. They look amazing in winter, especially on a day like today when there's lots of fresh snow. Amarani's Park is a great place to take photos, build a snowman or have a snowball fight. Towards the back of the park, there are these really beautiful meandering trails that lead you deep into the forest. To find them, make a right just as you enter. The park is free if you're just walking around. They also have sledding, tubing, and other kids' activities, plus some amusement park rides. This was one of my favourite places in Bakuriani, and we spent quite a lot of time here. The Samiba or Holy Trinity Church is a tiny stone church set on a hill in the centre of Bakuriani town. This is actually a dormant volcanic crater. In front of the church, you will see a little altar nestled in the hollow of a tree. We saw some really cute icons here that were hand-painted on pieces of wood. The church is partially fenced, so to get inside, you have to use the path that starts from the northern side of the base of the hill. It takes less than 10 minutes to walk up. The southern side of the hill is more wild, with beautiful slender trees and a big clearing that was covered with a thick layer of fresh snow when we visited. If you're into urbex and photography and abandoned buildings like I am, then you'll definitely want to head to the Libani Sanatorium. This is one of many sanatoriums built in this area, and it was built specifically to treat people with tuberculosis. The sanatorium was established in 1926. It's an absolutely massive building with some very beautiful neoclassical designs. You can find the sanatorium off the highway near Tsemi and Tabar villages. The village road is open throughout the winter. We did find it was a bit steep and icy, but it was definitely manageable. You might be able to hike here from Tsemi if you have snowshoes and proper gear, and ideally a guide. On the drive to Libani, be sure to stop at the viewpoint just off the highway to see the Eiffel Bridge. Another idea is to head down to Borjomi for a day. I've been to Borjomi dozens of times, but I've never seen it look as beautiful as it does in winter. The crisp white snow really makes the colours pop. Photograph the gorgeous Golden Tulip Hotel, originally built as a summer dasha for the Iranian consul. You can ride the retro cable car and admire the pretty architecture around the park. Try the famous mineral water straight from the spring inside Central Park. And if you have time, you can walk for about 40 minutes through the forest to reach the open-air hot springs. There are lots of other outdoor activities in Bakuriani, from snowshoe hiking in the mountains to riding an ATV to Tabatskuri Lake. There is also a husky park in Bakuriani where you can do a sled ride or just play with the dogs. Remember, you have to book in advance via their Instagram page. There are special events on in Bakuriani that you might want to plan for. You can watch one of the championships, attend the ice festival in January, or in February there are lots of après-ski events with live DJs organised by Kari. All the details for those are in my blog post.
There are lots of food options in Bakuriani, Georgian restaurants, international restaurants. We are here at Chateau Bartike. They actually have 2 branches now. There's one here in Senra town and another one closer to Didveli.
Chateau Vatsike was definitely one of our favourite meals in BAKURIANI, especially those khinkali, which are priced at 180 lari a piece, which is on par or even cheaper than some places in Tbilisi. Another great option is the kitchen at Rooms Kokta. The bar, restaurant and lounge are all open to the public. If you've been to Rooms in Kazbegi, this place has a similar vibe. It has a big outdoor terrace and a lovely lounge with an open fire. The menu includes Georgian classics and some regional Muscatian specialties. Mimino is a cozy restaurant near the 25 ski park. The staff here were really friendly and the Georgian food was really good. And finally, Baron is a great restaurant in the bottom of an apartment block near Crystal. It has a really nice view of the forest. Prices in BAKURIANI for food and drink are naturally a little bit higher, and you will find that portion sizes are noticeably smaller at a lot of these restaurants. But I still thought it was much better value for money here compared to Gudari. If you're on a budget, do what we did and have soup or ostri, which is a stew, with a khachapuri to share. Or you can go to one of the many local bakeries in town that sell Georgian bread and pastries for just a few lari. Because BAKURIANI is more of a family resort, the alcoholic après-ski options are a little bit more limited, but you can grab a drink at any of these restaurants. There are plenty of grocery shops and markets in BAKURIANI with the same brands you see anywhere else in Georgia, including Spa, Nikora, there's even a Euro product here. There are PSP and Aversi pharmacies in town, and there's also a 24-hour medical centre. There's a Magti office if you need to buy a Georgian SIM card, and there are plenty of banks and ATMs. Although most places in BAKURIANI, including all restaurants and the ticket booths, accept payment with card. BAKURIANI has a huge range of accommodations with everything from ski-in resorts to hotels, guest houses, and self-contained apartments. If you're coming primarily to ski, then you'll probably want to stay as close as possible to the resort of your choice. Didveli for beginners or Kokta Metabi for more experienced skiers. Rooms is the best ski-in hotel in BAKURIANI at present, and it's just footsteps from the lower Kokta lift. If you're coming to BAKURIANI just for the snow and a mix of activities, then I would either stay in Didveli or closer to town. We really like the area around Amirani's park. It has lots of trees, it's very quiet, and there are quite a few hotel options there. If you have limited time in BAKURIANI or if you're coming with young kids, then you might want to look for an all-in-one place to stay. Crystal is the obvious choice because it has everything in one place. We stayed in an apartment in Didveli in a building called The Valley, and we found this apartment on booking.com. So to finish up, one of the questions I get asked all the time is how does BAKURIANI compare to Gudari? If you have to choose just one ski resort, then which one is better? Broadly speaking, I would say that serious skiers will probably enjoy Gudari more, whereas families or beginner skiers will like BAKURIANI. The two resorts have a totally different feel. BAKURIANI is more geared towards families, young kids, and ski schools. We definitely noticed that more Georgian was spoken in BAKURIANI, whereas Gudari had more of an international vibe. The accommodation in BAKURIANI is definitely cheaper, and I think the whole resort was more affordable. Lift passes, for example, are cheaper in BAKURIANI than in Gudari for single rides, or if you pay by the day. BAKURIANI has more parking. It also has that bus system, which is really handy for getting around. Generally, the resort at BAKURIANI is just better laid out. Gudari is just a ski resort, whereas BAKURIANI is a town. Because of that, BAKURIANI has way more restaurants, services, and it's just generally more convenient. Gudari felt like a big party at times, with speakers blaring music and lots of day drinking, whereas BAKURIANI felt maybe more like a kid's theme park at times. It's really up to you which vibe you prefer. I will say though, the scenery in Gudari is way more impressive. Nothing beats those views of the Greater Caucasus Mountains. As much as I loved the beautiful forests in BAKURIANI, I think Gudari wins out in terms of beauty. There are of course two other ski resorts in Georgia, in Mestia and Goderdzi. You can look out for videos about those coming soon.